Good morning, everybody. Delighted to have you here. As an opening comment, we continue to have significant severe weather problems across the state of Kansas, even today, looking at tornado warnings and some possible tornadoes on the ground, even at this point in time. I toured Redding on Monday. Obviously, we've had difficulties there. About half the town, I think, was wiped out. Lost an individual, Don Chesmore, on Saturday night, and then 2 individuals last night in Barton County were killed because of storms. Most of the damage from last night's storms involved lost roofs, trees down, and power outages, although we did lose the 2 individuals near St. John. Have had significant hail damage and flash flooding, a tornado that touched down in Rush County. Many areas of Kansas receiving significant rain today. There's certainly concerns of flooding. As of the last few days have shown, and if I could just make this as an overall comment, that I would hope people would plan for these emergencies. I know I tend to get complacent about storms when they come through and thinking, well, okay, I've lived in Kansas my whole life. This isn't going to affect me. But it does. And I would really just hope people would pay attention to the alarms when they go off, particularly when they're in their area, that they would have a plan ahead of time about what they're going to do. This saved lives in Redding, where they're planning for the community. When people didn't have a place to go for shelter, they went to the Methodist Church, and that was the plan in the town, and several people went there, and more people would have died had they not gone there. So I just really would urge people, pay attention to the the announcements, the warnings, the tornado warnings, and then number 2, ahead of that, have a plan what you're going to do. And for those who would like to help in the volunteer cleanup, I'd ask, please call 211 to volunteer. Don't just show up at a place. Please call that 211 number. Talk about your group that wants to go and help. We need the help. The people already need the help. But access is limited. They want to make sure that groups are there to help out, and would just please ask that you would call that 211 number first. I did just sign an executive order on the issue in Joplin, what's taking place there, to grant conditional and temporary relief for motor carrier rules and regulations for those assisting with disaster recovery in Joplin, Missouri. Again, our hearts and prayers go out to the people of Joplin. This, I think, now is rated as the 8th most deadly tornado in U.S. history, and the most deadly since the 50s. Recovery efforts are going to be ongoing for quite some time. This temporary relief that I signed from our state's motor carrier laws will help expedite cleanup efforts and the transportation of food, supplies, medicine, and other necessities from Kansas to our Missouri neighbors in need of, as well as assistance in the removal of debris and reconstruction. The executive order is 1109. Participating motor carriers must still obtain the required over-dimension, overweight permits prior to operating. However, the fees associated with these permits are temporarily waived. Additionally, they also will receive priority service and may operate during low visibility, night, holiday, and curfew hours if the carriers and/or the drivers use clearance lights and escort vehicles. Registration and fuel tax permits are temporarily suspended as well, and that took effect from actually May 23rd until June 22nd. It is a horrendous disaster in Joplin, and a number of Kansans impacted as well.